Hello everyone, it's Gladius, and yes, we're getting nerfed pretty heavily. We're going to lose 30% of our damage off of our Raptor Strike, and Raptor Strike, depending on your spec, is going to be a good percent of your damage itself. Now, is that the end? Should we hang it all up? No, actually, Hunter still has a great option that's going to negate this nerf almost completely. We're going to go through every piece of it. We're going through all of it today. Talents, runes, pets, rotation, consumables, all the pieces we're putting together to make our Hunter do the best it can do in the gnomeregan raid. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First thing, you probably guessed it, we're using a cat. Cats are just the best when it comes to phase 2 so far. There are situational advantages to using gorillas, for example, and I'll save those for a different video, but they are more specific. We're talking about doing damage, dungeons, raids, and definitely in both raids and dungeons, cats are going to reign supreme when it comes to just doing DPS. One more note when it comes to your pet, you definitely want to be using a 2.0 attack speed pet. Each one of its attacks does more damage. So with that being said, when we do our flanking strike, it's going to do a higher attack because it forces a free attack from your pet. If you're looking for a cat around level 40, picking up a Ridge Huntress in Badlands is going to be a great option because they're level 38 to 39 and they have a 2.0 attack speed. Great one to grab if you don't have a cat that's at a 2.0 attack speed that's near level cap. Next, let's jump into talents and runes. But first, a word from today's sponsor. As I was introduced into the AM, it became clear off the bat, this is not just a clothing brand. It's a group of creators and artists working hard to bring a canvas to their customers for self-expression. Into the AM brings their passion into their products. And what's really great about it too is that not only are they amazing to look at, but they're very comfortable to wear as well. They put thought and care into how it's put together and constructed so that you're wearing something that's stylish and fits you as a t-shirt should. I thought this one was really cool. The Royal Rain tee reminds me a lot of the Stormwind emblem. Alliance players can represent their faction in a very stylish way. And finally, the Meta Beach tee. This thing, I fell in love with the colors immediately. The colors are bright and vibrant. Really just another fantastic tee. Now, while I did fall in love with the graphic tees, that's not all that Into the AM does. They're a full clothing brand. They have all different types of things you can take a look at, including some more subtle designs, regular tees, long sleeve tees, and that kind of stuff as well. All of them come with that comfort that you expect from an Into the AM shirt, along with that perfect fit. By using the link in the description, you can get 10% off of your order. You can restock your wardrobe with quality and comfortable graphic tees. Elevate your self-expression with unparalleled comfort with Into the AM, all while supporting the channel if you choose to do so. I want to send out a thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring this video, and you all if you decide to support the channel by purchasing from the link below. Now, when we're assembling the tree, when we're putting the tree together, we're going to go deep Beast Mastery on this. Basically taking our Beast Mastery talents that we've been using for our ranged builds and just putting melee on it. But with the heavy nerfs coming to our damage and what we can put out, off-putting our talent spec to be able to buff the pet's damage is just going to far outperform what we're able to do in the survival spec. Now, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about. In a previous build, I did mention that we wanted to do less in frenzy. In this case, where we're reliant so much on our pet's damage and our pet's damage really carrying us in the raid, we want to be able to get that the frenzy buff as quick as we can. By putting 5 points into this talent point, we're going to be able to get this frenzy quicker. When your pet is attacking initially, it's going to be able to pick up that frenzy buff faster, so it's able to have more uptime over the entirety of the fight. So yes, that is 5 points in frenzy this time around, no matter what the attack speed is on your pet. Now, if we're changing gears over, we're going to maintain a lot of the runes we were using before, except note, we're not going to be using Lone Wolf. So while Lone Wolf was working with a survival build before, we're not doing that. Aspect of the Lion is just an absolute must. Gotta have it. Have to. And the reason why we shouldn't feel too bad about running Aspect of the Lion is that if we are the wearer of Aspect of the Lion, we get 2 of these buffs, okay? So we get 10% and 10%, making for 20% increased stats. Super nice. Great. On our gloves, we're going to run the Beast Mastery hands rune. That totally makes sense. It's just playing into the fact that our anytime we can buff the damage of our pet, because our pet is a monster compared to us right now, we're going to go ahead and do it. So Beast Mastery on our gloves. Waist will be running Melee Specialist. Legs, we're going to be running Flanking Strike. These are both going to play into the idea that we're going to be doing melee strikes. We are still dual wielding, so in that case, we are going to run dual wield on our feet. Now, let's stay on that for a second. The nerf we're experiencing in this patch is going to be the dual wield Rune. Now, if we lose that 30% bonus for having two of the same weapon, then we're just going to get increased offhand damage. The double attack is pretty nice when it comes to Raptor Strike, so it still is going to impact our damage. However, if you are interested in running an AoE build for some of the trash packs that's in gnomeregan, or if there's a trash pack that you wanted to spec up for, Explosive Trap can do an okay amount of damage, but when it comes to actual boss fights and stuff, you're not going to want to use Explosive Trap, and the traps don't do quite enough, especially now that we're not even spec'd into survival. We're spec'd all into Beast Mastery, so it's not like we're getting enhanced traps or anything like that. So all that to say, let's still run dual wield. If our aim is for damage, AoE pulls, you can slap on Trap Launcher for just a second. Just make sure you remember to change it out. Let's talk about what kind of enchants we want on our gear. On chest, we're taking lesser stats. Solid. Wrists, we're going to use minor agility, and hands, we're going to get the agility enchantment. Picking up with the boots, we're going to get lesser agility on our boots. Now, once again, we're melee, so feel free to skip the ranged weapon enchant, but we're going to want to enchant our weapons with striking. I'm going to be prioritizing agility by far. Agility is going to be the best option for us because it's going to increase the power of our pet, and we get 2 attack power from it. So our pet's going to be doing massive damage with the more agility we have. That being said, I'm going to be taking Elixir of Agility and then also free action potions. Don't forget, we can pick up scrolls and we can actually put that on our pet as well. Strength for our pet is not a bad option because that's going to increase the melee damage that it does. Now, if you're not going to be using Wild Strikes or Wind Fury, then you do want to go ahead and use a solid sharpening stone on your weapon to do a little bit more damage there. Once again, though, if you are going to have Wild Strikes or Wind Fury, don't worry about this because, of course, those will do way more for you than the stone will. All right, and now, of course, rotation is just, it's been memed about before. It's very, very simple. You're just going to Flanking Strike every time it's up and then Raptor Strike. You can spam your Raptor Strike because of the reset mechanic, but you want to make sure you're always prioritizing Flanking Strike first whenever it comes off cooldown. Now, to help you out with this, to make it even easier, if it wasn't easy enough already, you can get an add-on called Doom's Cooldown Pulse. This is going to flash in the middle of your screen whenever a cooldown comes up. This includes your Raptor Strike and it includes when it comes up right away from a reset or something. So yes, that will make it just crazy easy for you to use. Now, you still got BIS to get. You still got BIS or pre-BIS. I do have guides going over each one of those individually in the description below. Go ahead and take a look at those. Some of them you can solo and then others you can't, but it's pretty easy to get because it only takes a couple of you. It's guaranteed since it is coming from a quest. So there's a couple quest items you need to grab before you walk into gnomeregan. I want to put out a thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring the video. By using the link below, you will be helping support the channel here, as well as getting a 10% discount off for yourself. If the video did help you out today, please heroic strike that like button. If you want to stay tuned for more WoW content in the future, please back to subscribe. Thank you for your time, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.